Our top story this morning is on all of the dramatic political developments in Punjab. Hours after suddenly quitting as the Punjab Congress chief, hectic parleys continue in Navjot Singh Sidhu's camp. In a bid to weigh his support, Navjot Singh Sidhu met several of his aides at his Patiala residence. Sidhu met Punjab working presidents Kuljit Nagra and Sukhwinder Singh Dhani, as well as Congress MP Amar Singh. Apart from them, slew of MLAs also made a beeline at Sidhu's residence. Congress MLA Jagdev Singh Kamalu, Pirmal Singh Khalsa, Bava Henry and Sukhpal Khera met with Sidhu late last night. After Sidhu tendered his resignation, Cabinet Minister Razia Sultana, the Punjab Congress's General Secretary Yoginder Dhingra and Treasurer of Punjab Congress Gulzar Inder Chahal followed suit. They also quit from their respective posts. Amid this resignation spree, Punjab Chief Minister Charanjit Singh Channi will be chairing a cabinet meet today at 10:30. India Today has learnt that Sidhu himself wanted to be the Chief Minister of Punjab, so he was miffed over someone else being chosen. He wanted his aides in key positions of the CMO. That didn't happen. Sidhu is said to also have been miffed with the appointment of Deputy Chief Minister Randhawa as the Home Minister.
The Sardar struck once again. 72 days after anointment as the Punjab Congress chief, Navjot Singh Sidhu has quit the post. His resignation from the prized post he got after months of feud with Captain Amrinder Singh has come as shocker for the party high command. In a letter to Congress chief Sonia Gandhi, which he made public on Twitter, Sidhu said he will continue to work for the Congress, but cannot compromise on Punjab's future and welfare. Navjot Singh Sidhu is said to be miffed that he wasn't elevated to the CM's post. Sources say he had opposed allocation of home portfolio to Deputy CM Sukhjinder Singh Randhawa. According to sources, Sidhu was unhappy his camp members were overlooked during ministry formation. Former CM Captain Amrinder Singh, who was brought down after frequent sniping by Sidhu, tweeted, and I quote, "I told you so. Sidhu is an unstable man and is unfit for state of Punjab."
जहाँ तक सिद्धू की बात है, वो तो पहले दिन से मैंने कहा, he's an unstable man, and to have an unstable man calling the shots in जो हमारी एक security related होगी के साथ का पाकिस्तान का border है, it would be dangerous for the security of the nation. मैं पहले भी यही कहा था और आज भी मेरी यही कहना है.
The whole episode has Congress in disarray.
देखिए, सिर्फ कोई पद के लिए कांग्रेस में लड़ाई नहीं होती है. उनका अगर खत भी देखो तो उन्होंने कहा है कि मैं पंजाब के लिए कांग्रेस के अंदर रह के काम करना चाहता हूँ. सही यही होगा कि पंजाब के इंचार्ज जो इस बात के ऊपर या हमारे ऑफिशियली जो इस इश्यू पे प्रेस होगी वही बताएंगे.
For the BJP, the crisis has given more ammunition to fire at the Congress.
कांग्रेस पार्टी वो कांग्रेस पार्टी है जिसने कि जिसकी नीतियां और जिसके कार्यक्रम और जिसके नेतृत्व पूरी तरह से नकारात्मकता से भरपूर रहे हैं और जिसका क्या असर उनके ऊपर दिखाई पड़ रहा है. ये उनकी अपनी चिक किचकिच है. लेकिन कांग्रेस पार्टी को एक ही चीज़ कह सकते हैं कि अब कांग्रेस पार्टी कुछ समझ में नहीं आ रही है. लग रहा है चूचू का मुरब्बा बन गई है.
Opposition parties in Punjab too jumped in.
देखिए, इससे ये पता चलता है नवजोत सिंह सिद्धू दलित विरोधी हैं. एक गरीब मां के बच्चे को मुख्यमंत्री बनता हुआ सह नहीं पाए नवजोत सिंह सिद्धू. कुछ दिन तो चल पाए मगर उसके बाद जो है उनका दर्द जो है बाहर छलक गया. मुझे बहुत दुख है कि नवजोत सिंह सिद्धू ऐसा कर रहे हैं.
ਜਿਹੜਾ ਨਵਜੋਤ ਸਿੱਧੂ ਹੈ ਆ ਮਿਸਗਾਈਡਡ ਮਜ਼ਾਈਲ ਹੈ. ਇਹਦਾ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਿਹਦੇ ਤੇ ਡਿੱਗੂਗਾ ਤੇ ਕਿਹਨੂੰ ਮਾਰੂਗਾ. ਜਦੋਂ ਪ੍ਰਧਾਨ ਬਣਾਇਆ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲੇ ਕੈਪਟਨ ਤੇ ਡਿੱਗਿਆ, ਕੈਪਟਨ ਨੂੰ ਤਬਾਹ ਕੀਤਾ ਤੇ ਹੁਣ ਕਾਂਗਰਸ ਆਪਣੀ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਜਿਹਨੇ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਪ੍ਰਧਾਨ ਬਣਾਇਆ ਸੀ ਕਾਂਗਰਸ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਤੇ ਡਿੱਗ ਪਿਆ. ਹੁਣ ਕਾਂਗਰਸ ਦਾ ਸਫਾਇਆ ਕਰਤਾ ਨੇ.
As crisis unfolded in Punjab, Sonia Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi returned from Shimla. 5 months before elections in Punjab, the Congress, which was hoping for a second term, is at its wit's end. If the fight was between Sidhu and Amrinder earlier, the feud now is much bigger and has more players in it. Bureau Report, India Today.
What about Captain Amrinder Singh? His Delhi visit in the midst of all of this drama of Sidhu's resignation as the Punjab Congress chief has set tongues wagging in state political circles. All eyes are now on Captain's next political move. He accused the party high command of humiliating him. He could just meet the BJP top brass is what we're hearing. Captain Amrinder Singh, however, has termed his Delhi visit as personal.
Captain Amrinder Singh, who was humiliated and forced to quit the post of Punjab Chief Minister, is now on a mission. For the first time after he resigned on September 18th, Captain has arrived in Delhi. His sudden visit comes against the backdrop of his bête noire Navjot Singh Sidhu's resignation as the Punjab Congress chief.
मैंने कहा था आदमी अनस्टेबल है और उसने आप ही दिखा दिया कि उसने आज रेजिग्नेशन कर दिया.
Amrinder's visit to the capital has set the tongues wagging in the corridors of power. India Today has learned that MLAs close to Amrinder have urged the former CM to seek floor test. This after some Punjab Congress leaders holding key positions resigned, taking Sidhu's cue. Amrinder is said to be keeping a close watch on the political developments in Punjab. His visit to Delhi has only fanned speculations. Not very long ago, Haryana Home Minister Anil Vij had openly invited Captain to join the BJP.
राष्ट्रवादी अमरिंदर सिंह जो कांग्रेस की इस गंदी साजिश में बाधा थे, उनका राजनीतिक तौर पर कत्ल कर दिया. कांग्रेस के ये जो गेम प्लान है, इसको फेल करने के लिए ना केवल अमरिंदर सिंह को, सभी ताकतों को इकट्ठा होकर इनको धाराशायी करना चाहिए.
Anil Vij's remarks came after a sulking Captain had made his intentions clear. For the time being, Captain is keeping his cards close to his chest. Though he told India Today, he is keeping his options open.
I will take into account all my supporters, whether they are in the parliament or in the assembly or outside in politics, and then I will make up my mind. I never said which party I will be in.
The Congress is hoping all will be well.
कैप्टन अमरिंदर सिंह साडे मुख्यमंत्री रहे है. चलो मुख्यमंत्री हटन तो बाद जे हुण वो गए हैं तो चंगी गल है, कोई ना कोई गल करके जाएंगे, पंजाब दे हक दी हित दी ओ करना.
With Navjot Singh Sidhu quitting as Punjab chief, the Congress now has to handle two fronts. It has to ensure both Sidhu and Amrinder fall in line fast.
Amid the Congress's infighting in Punjab, Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal will be visiting the poll-bound state on a 2-day trip starting today. The AAP national convener Kejriwal is expected to make big announcements during his visit. He's going to be visiting Ludhiana, where Kejriwal will be meeting with businessmen as well as traders. Arvind Kejriwal will also be holding a press conference, that's tomorrow, during which he's expected to make the big announcement that the AAP has been mentioning. National spokesperson Raghav Chadha took to Twitter and said, stay tuned for big announcements. There's a lot of speculation of what it's going to be. Earlier, Kejriwal had promised 300 units of free electricity to each family per month, 24-hour uninterrupted power supply and a waiver of pending electricity bills if the AAP wins in Punjab. Kejriwal's meeting comes at a time when the Punjab Congress has been hit by a series of shockers, and there's no doubt that the AAP is trying to benefit from it. And let's move on to some other stories this morning. India carried out surgical strikes across the LOC at terror launch pads 5 years ago. And since September 18th now, we've been seeing that infiltration bids have been on a rise. Vigilant Indian security forces, however, have been foiling all nefarious bids. Here's a ground report filed by Abhishek Bhalla from the Uri sector.
This is the Uri sector on the line of control. The hotbed of infiltration from terror launch pads in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir over the last 10 days. The launch pads are under close observation of Pakistan army posts that are abetting the infiltration. This is bang opposite to Khoja Bandi village in POK that has an ISI center. On 18th of September, which happens to be the anniversary of the deadly Uri attack of 2016, a massive infiltration bid was attempted in the sector. The infiltration attempt was the first in the area since the Uri attack, in which 17 Indian soldiers were killed. This was followed by another infiltration attempt on 23rd September, where 3 terrorists were killed. While terrorists were gunned down in one location, there were multiple attempts elsewhere. The combing and search operations continue even after 10 days. India today is at ground zero, where the operations are still going on.
We are at the line of control in the Uri sector, where there have been back-to-back infiltration attempts that the Indian Army has foiled. What we are witnessing right now is a drill that the Indian Army is carrying out to make sure that they can counter any kind of infiltration, even though there has been a ceasefire since February. In the last few weeks, there has been a considerable increase in the number of attempts made by terrorists from across the LOC, and they are being backed by Pakistani army commanders. That's the reason why the Indian Army is maintaining a high alert.
There has been a ceasefire agreement in place between India and Pakistan since February this year. No exchange of fire has taken place between the two armies since then. This comes after 4,700 ceasefire violations took place in 2020, the worst in 17 years. From August 2019 to December 2020, a period of 17 months accounted for 80% of the ceasefire violations in the last 2 years. LOC had been on edge since the beginning of 2019. After our Air Force carried out airstrikes at a terror camp in Balakot in Pakistan in February. A befitting reply to the Pulwama terror attack in Kashmir that killed 40 soldiers from the Central Reserve Police Force. Following the airstrikes, Pakistan was lying low, but terror activities are once again peaking with the help of Imran Khan's army.
While the launch pads have been always generally full for last about 4-5 months, but since the time the ceasefire has been, the attempts have been very few to cross the LC by the terrorists. But in last about a month, seems to be a connivance from the local military commanders in which is enabling these crossings.
A high alert was sounded in the Uri sector after the infiltration attempt on September 18th. While 3 terrorists were gunned down on September 23rd, the combing and search operations are on in multiple locations.
On being challenged, there was a gunfight in which 3 terrorists were eliminated. The recoveries from them are 5 AK series rifle, 7 pistols along with 12 pistol magazines.
Another infiltration bid was thwarted on September 27th. Following the infiltration attempt on September 18th, a high alert was sounded in the Uri sector. While 3 terrorists crossed over and took shelter behind a rock, 2 others followed. That's when an Indian Army soldier came face to face with one of the terrorists and there was gunfire. Within minutes, 2 terrorists were gunned down, but the third continued the gun battle for another 15 minutes before being neutralized. 2 remaining fled the scene.
As we have reached this forward location, what we are witnessing are patrols that are being carried out by the Indian Army to spot whatever little information they can get on infiltration. On my left, is all Pakistan occupied Kashmir. These are the areas, the nalas here that are used for infiltration, and it's a very densely forested area. That's what makes patrolling extremely difficult.
While the army seized 5 AK rifles, our forces later got information that the other 2 terrorists were carrying 9 more rifles, pistols, more ammunitions and 1.5 crore rupees Indian currency. After the February ceasefire, there has been no exchange of fire, and that's why our army's tactics are focused on stopping infiltrations without targeting Pakistani posts or their soldiers.
In a recent operation here in the Uri sector, the Indian Army had spotted 5 terrorists, but they waited for them to cross the LOC. That's when they killed 3 of them while 2 fled. The reason for this change is because the army wants to make sure that there is no allegation from Pakistan suggesting that India has violated the ceasefire.
The army feels while current violence levels in the Kashmir Valley are low, the infiltration bids indicate Pakistan's desperate attempt to sustain cross-border terror and bring in weapons to disturb peace in the valley.
There has been hardly any pelting events that have taken place, and this is possibly what is hurting the Pakistani and Pakistani proxies across. We don't care. Anybody who's picking up a weapon, who's not coming through proper passport, visa stamp, he's a terrorist and will be neutralized accordingly.
There might be a ceasefire between India and Pakistan since February, but that doesn't mean that Indian Army can let its guard down. The reason for that is because as far as terror launch pads are concerned, they are full across the line of control, and also there is a bigger fear that these launch pads in some time to come will have more terrorists coming, especially LET and JEM terrorists who were in Afghanistan-Pakistan border might end up at launch pads at the line of control. With camera person Rauf, Abhishek Bhalla from Uri sector, line of control, India Today.
The Kolkata Knight Riders made it 3 wins out of 4 games in the UAE to keep their 4th position on the points table intact. In a low-scoring encounter, KKR defeated the Delhi Capitals by 3 wickets. Here's all that happened.
In this heat today.
A day game in Sharjah, and it turned out to be another low-scoring affair. Openers Shikhar Dhawan and Steve Smith both got starts but never got the hang of the surface, with their strike rate not crossing 120.
Very friendly.
While Dhawan perished in Ferguson's first over, Shreyas Iyer lost his stumps to Nareen soon after.
Drift, turn, Sunil Narine, what a special delivery.
Smith and Pant tried to get a partnership going, but Ferguson returned to send Smith back.
Then knocked him over the next pace on the ball.
Rishabh Pant slowly soldiered on at one end, but wickets kept tumbling at the other.
Down to long off and taken.
Venkatesh Iyer, bowling his part-time medium pace, too picked up a couple of wickets as Delhi crawled their way to 127.
A good catch again from Lucky Ferguson. He's some athlete.
Like Delhi Capitals, KKR too struggled to really get going. Lalit Yadav with his off breaks got the better of Venkatesh Iyer in his very first over.
Hurried through the defence of Venkatesh Iyer.
Rahul Tripathi came out and smashed a 6 of the very first delivery, only to be caught by Steve Smith a few balls later.
To Steve Smith. Viva, perfect catch of the match.
Rabada outfoxed Shubman Gill, who scored 30 runs but at a strike rate of less than 100.
Wicket maiden, brilliant from Rabada.
Ashwin then removed Morgan with the KKR skipper, failing to add a single run to the score.
Morgan goes and the Delhi Capitals believe.
But Nitish Rana was going strong at the other end as he smashed Lalit Yadav for a couple of sixes to boost KKR's hopes.
A lot closer to that one with the same outcome.
Moments later, Dinesh Karthik chopped one back onto his stumps.
Pressure built up by a sequence of dot deliveries.
Sunil Narine though came out all guns blazing and sent Rabada packing with a flurry of boundaries.
Another one.
Even though KKR lost Narine and Saudi in quick succession, Nitish Rana ensured they got over the line and secured the much-needed 2 points that keeps them in the 4th place.
And that is a very welcome 2 points as well. In a tough
Sports Bureau, India Today.
this afternoon.